So this is just a quick video to show you how to make these mackerel feathers rigs that I make. A simple version. And hopefully when you finish watching the video you should be able to just go out and make your own sets. Now the first thing we need to do is make these layers. We need 4 per rig, and they're made from a 2/0 O'Shaughnessy hook, nickel plated. We've got some holographic ribbon. This can be bought from card shops or 50p shops. Curling ribbon it's called. This is holographic. Some insulation tape, just ordinary red PVC insulation tape, and this, I don't know whether that's in focus, but that's 35 pound monofilament, 0.55 diameter. Right, I'll show you how. So first off, insulation tape. Just trim off, screw the end off there. And I'm going to cut this, it's 2 centimeters wide, so I'm going to cut it 2 by 1 centimeters approximately. And I need about 4 pieces. That's what 4 pieces. So next off, holographic ribbon. And I need 8 pieces, it's at 60mm approximately. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 for good luck, 1 because I'm messing up, and 1 because I just can't still. That's it. Assembling the layers. There we go. There's my hook. Just gonna stick that bit of tape on the shank. Take 1 of our pieces of foil, drop it on there alongside the shank. Another one just about overlapping it. It's about halfway up and overlapping. There, that's it. And what I should be able to do is just wrap that around the shank. If I just turn that hook. There we go. So that's it. So we need 4 of them, and you've got your 4. You can just cut these to length. Put a bit of an angle on. There we go. And they're ready then to be secured with the knot. So the knot. So I'm just going to hold this between my fingers. There we go. There's my layer. And I'm going to thread my line through the top. And this line is still attached to the spool. Top of the eye, pull through 250 to 300mm, then back through. There's the first loop. Just pull that up a bit. Let's just pinch that to the shank. There we go. So then I have this working end here, and I'm going to thread that back through the first loop, and there's my 2 loops. This end here is going to eventually be the snood that attaches this to the main line. So I'm going to pull this other loop up. Don't need to put much tension, I don't want to pull the bottom line through the eye. And then just press there. You can see this is on, obviously on this side of the layer. That's where it should be. Now I can really just start wrapping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Move along a bit. 6, 7. I normally get up to about 15 or 16 turns. And pressure wise you don't need a lot of pressure, just enough to hold it in a coil. You don't want to crush the line underneath. If you do it too tight you won't be able to pull the knot up at the end. So there, just before the end of the red there, I've finished. And I'm going to trim this line I've just wrapped round about 2 or 3 inches along. Now swap fingers again. So what I'm left with is this loop here, and the end I've just cut, and I'm going to pass this through the loop. That's the end I've just cut through the loop, and just pull that up. Now my other end, the end that's eventually going to go as a snood to the main line, I can just pull, and that will close the loop there. That's effectively the knot done. You can see that the lines come out here and it's smooth, it's not kinked or damaged, and I just need to cut off that tag end. So if it's done right, this is going to really hold that. You can see there I'm putting quite a bit of force on it, it's not moving, and also the hook will actually flex with the strength of that knot. That's it really, job done. Just 4 of them we need, and we can make up the rig then. So layer head, hook back in, top, thread through the top, say 200-300mm again, back through the bottom of the eye, first loop, just hold that, pull that through a bit, and let's just secure it to the shank again. So second loop, put the end through, just bring that through, there you go, 2 loops, and then just pull this, draw it up, again not too much pressure, push that back, just secure it there, and then start to wrap. Again, not too much pressure, you just want to wrap it, you just need to hold it in a coil, not crush or kink the line, smoothly, and just before you come to the end, there, end of the red, hold it, trim 2 or 3 inches off of the end that you've just wrapped. Let's change fingers again, see my little loop there, and let's just thread that through there. Now I can take this other end and just pull that and close the loop. That's really it. Let's trim this tag off here. There you go. Job done. So once you've got your 4 knots complete on your layers, you can do one last thing before you put them on your rig. I'm just going to drop this as a piece of wood with just an edge, a magnetic strip, self-adhesive edge on, just to hold it in position. And I'm just going to put a bit of clear nail varnish on each head, and that'll get drawn into the knot just by capillary action of the little gaps. We'll draw it up. It's just for that extra bit of protection, because I tend to leave the rigs attached to the rod for a long time. And that's it. Just leave it to dry and we can start tying the rig, assembling the rig. So I'm just going to put this to one side and make the main line of the rig. So I'm pulling off a separate piece of line here, and this is going to be the main through line of the rig, which all the other layers are going to attach to. Let's just put that there, and I'll pull off about 600mm, 600mm ish. And what I'm going to do first is tie just a double overhand loop knot, which is 1, 2. So that's my first knot. That's the first point that my layers are going to connect with. Then we get the ruler back. I'm going to tie the next knot, 250mm long, another double overhand loop. So my second layer is going to be connected, and you can just check that. If you need to, just pull it along a bit, pull it back a bit. The knot will slide up and down, so you can kind of negotiate it until it's as accurate as you want it, which obviously doesn't need to be amazingly accurate. And again, third, same again, double overhang and loop. And what this means is that you're not everything's set up at the right spacing to start tying before you begin assembling it, and you're not negotiating with hooks, trying to tie knots with hooks. And then you final your fourth. Can be a bit tricky just sliding all these back through. So that's it, just get the layers back. So I'm back at the first knot on my main line, and what I'm going to do is just pull it gently, and you can see what happens is it kind of loops over on itself there. And what you're left with is basically two eyes at either end. So I'm going to take my first layer and I'm going to feed that through one eye, back round, back through the other eye. There, so it's attached. I just gently pull that again, but you can see it's right up against that knot, and then I'm going to make the main knot, which is just, I think they're called uni knots or Guinea knots. And the diameter of that, I'll just hold that loop there, the diameter of that loop, about 25mm, and that should give me some experience, about 70mm snood length. So wrap it round. 1, 2, 3, back round, 4. There we go, so we've got 4 loops around. What I need to do now is just gently pull. Again, with all these knots, you don't really need pressure, you just need a gentle tug in the right direction. And now what I'm going to do is hold the main line and pull this back down a couple of inches. You can see that knot there, it's just in the centre. Okay, get my fat fingers again and just push them up the line. You see the knots there, it's a bit scruffy but it's there. And then again, tease. Pull the tag end, just tease that. So I'm going to keep on pulling the hook down, and this knot is going to slide up to this point here. Then again, main line, the ends of the main line, I'll just pull, and that starts to tighten up. Back holding my hook, pull gently, and then a bit more pressure there from my hook. And that's it, that's the knot that holds it up to the main line. If I measure there, you can see about 70 to 80mm I've got between the hook and the knot. That's my snood length. I'm just going to trim this tag end off. That's it. As I say, that knot's not going anywhere. You can put your hand, and I'm pulling there with quite some substantial pressure. Here's our second loop. Let's just do exactly the same again. There you see, curls over. Let's get the second layer. So this is the snood from the second layer. in one, out the other. Just pull that up there. Let's make our loop. Ooh, wrap that around there. Again, about 25mm. Diameter, just pull that side so there. And then wrap. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You can add a bit of a spit here just to lubricate it along the line. I'm not going to for filming purposes. Just pull that halfway, your hook halfway down a bit, tighten up, and then you can just gently, this is back on the main line, just close up that knot a bit, pull your line down, so your two knots together, pull this, just gently teasing, and then holding the hook, just pull the two knots together. Just make sure you cut off the tag end, not the main line. I have done that before today. There you go. Second knot. Second layer attached. So when you've tied all four onto the rig, and it's time to do the connecting knots that are going to connect it to the weight at one end and your fishing line at the other. So start at the first layer and work backwards, and I want to go back about 450mm. About there, 450mm. I'm just going to bend that over there, and what I'm going to do here is just a double overhand loop knot, which is just, and I'm going to make it quite big because what I want this to do is loop over the fishing weight when I attach it. So that's it, simple. Pull it tight. Just cut the tag end off. Leave a bit. Okay, from the other end, that's from the fourth layer up. I'm going to go up probably the same length as space between each layer, which is about 250mm. There. And I'm going to do the same. But generally here I tie a smaller knot, make a smaller loop, but it's a double loop knot. It's just so I remember which end is which when I pull it from the packet. So that's that. That's the rig almost complete. So there's one final option you can do, which is add a swivel, and this is really for use when you've got a fixed spool reel, which after a lot of use tends to add some twist to the line, and it needs to be freed. So I just literally loop that over a swivel. My main line to the rod and reel will be attached there, and what that means is as you're pumping it up and down and it's spinning or when you wind it in, any line twist in the line's going to be undone. When I'm using a multiplier reel, I never bother. It's just something else to get snagged, to be honest, and I've never had a problem in the years that I've used a multiplier reel with these without a swivel. I've never really had a problem. So that's that, and then it just remains really just to wrap the rig up. So to store them, what I do is I just take the rig and I literally wind it round a couple of fingers, leaving the winding the main line round a couple of fingers. There you go. And I take, just get my fat fingers out. take one of these snap bags. I found these somewhere, I can't remember where I got them, but you can get them in the shops basically. Use them for freezing things in. So just small bags. Slip the coil in there, push your layers and your swivel in. And that's it done. That's your rig, ready to use when you're out on the boat. With the ones I make and sell, I put them in a packet, and on the back is the sizes, the hook, the line weight and the spacings, so people who buy them understand what they're getting. It's not a lucky dip. And I'm just going to show you, if you just watch the end, that was a little video of me and Isaac and his dad from this weekend, using these rigs to do a bit of fishing off the coast of Scotland. Let's have a look at those fish. Now, whose layers were you using to catch these fish?
Paul Adams!
Were they handmade by Paul Adams?
Yes! Beautifully handmade.
And how many fish did we catch in 10 minutes, was it?
Lots, I don't know, lost track.
A lot.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, lost count already.
And a lovely coalie there.
4, 5.
Isaac and his coalfish. You have to hold it the right way. There we go. What's he called, your coalfish?
Fred.
Fred. Fred the coalfish. Very good.